Okay, so I think we're there. Okay. So let's do more of these problems, but let's do them two different ways. So what I'll do, okay, I'll go ahead to the next section and show you the two different ways, and then I'll go back because some of the problems are the same. So there's this section called instantaneous center. They just, I mean, I usually don't hear the of zero velocity, but I usually hear instant center. But of zero velocity, it's okay. So if you imagine yourself taking a picture of a bicycle, and of course this guy did, and the frame rate is kind of open, so you see more blur. So up here, you see it's kind of blurry. And then what you notice is, if you were able to get a really good resolution, you would notice that the ground, it's touching the ground. So actually, it's the only spot that if you take a snapshot that has a zero velocity. Everything else, every other part that's on the bicycle is moving to some degree. If you're looking over here at this part of the wheel, it is moving a portion to the right, but it's also moving up because the wheel is rotating. So actually, the bike has, and this term right here is used a lot, the IC or instant center. The instant center here of, here, that light is reflecting off. I'm going to try to figure out how to cut that part. It's the one part, there we go. It's the one part of the bicycle that's not moving. It's kind of weird. And it has, this concept has a lot of advantages. And so what he's kind of talking about here on this thing and this, okay, so let's take for instance this one to the right first. If you know two spots on a body and you don't know their actual velocity, but you do know the direction of the velocity, then what you do is you draw a perpendicular to it and you extend this line out. And then the other spot, you got to know the other one too. And so you know the direction of, say, the other one, you draw a perpendicular and extend a line, and where they cross is the instant center. And there are cases in which if you have a velocity on one end of the body, the blue thing is some sort of object, and then the direction on the other end of the body is that way, you draw this, okay, I'm trying to draw it, a line between the velocities, and this is the spot that seems to be sitting still at that instant. So you got to kind of think you're taking a picture and it, you know, you have a frame rate and it's open for a second and closed. Well, out here it's going to be blurry. This will be even more blurry, but there's some spot that doesn't have that blur because it's not moving over that small instant. So how would you use this? Well, for example, I mean, I wouldn't pick this example, but he has it right here. A piece of lumber, or maybe that's a ladder. I don't know what that is. It's sliding down the wall. Well, point B is touching the wall as it's sliding down, and point A is sliding out that way. So right now, the instant center looks like it's perpendicular to both the wall here and the ground here. It turns out that a few seconds later, the latter might look like that, which means the instant center could move. So the instant center could move. It doesn't have, and it doesn't have to be. It can be, but it doesn't have to be fixed. So how would you use this? Instead of doing these, because these are already done, let me go back up to the top. And what I'll do is I'll do a problem the new way, this, and then the old way. And that way you can realize there are two ways to do these problems. You know, when I woke up, I looked at the weather and it said nothing about rain. And then within 30 minutes, I started getting posts, it's going to rain. Then it said in 15 minutes. In 15 minutes passed, no rain. So I'm really confused. I think no one knows exactly what's going to happen. And that's actually a bad thing, because if nobody knows, it could be bad, it could be good, but it doesn't look like it's getting any better. So that's an area that we need a lot of work on, predicting the weather, which is not all that possible anyway. So anyway, let me take a drink here. I've never drank this, so I don't know what this is. Orange. Okay. Does not taste like orange juice. So, but it is orange colored. Maybe that's what it is, orange colored, when it has fake orange taste to it. So here, let me just pick a problem back up here. Okay, do I want to go do one of these? You know what? If I do that one, well, I'd like to have one a little bit more complicated, that maybe going simple to start with is a good idea. Okay. Try to get the thing to come up. The computer seems to be a little slow. Did I just click that? I'm pretty sure I clicked that. Did I click it again? How many times do you need to click it? Maybe 3 times. Ah, there it is. And I'm in rectangular, so I'm going to do a new. And now that it's there, I'm going to go down, drop the image right there. Okay, so I don't know, the computer is running a little slow. So the crank rotates like this with the 12. Angular velocity at 12. Determine the velocity of this piston over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do instant center. Now, you do an instant center of each of the links. So I've got a link right here, and then I get a link right here. So first I'll deal with this one because I know more information about that one. That one is pretty dumb. Okay, so it's not dumb. It's that this is fixed. So if that's fixed, and this thing's rotating like so, then this one's got to go this way. And its velocity is equal to omega r in a scalar sort of sense. I've already figured out the direction. And so that's 12 times 0.3 times 0.3. Oh, I hate to say that, but isn't it 3.6? Is that 3.6? I hope that's, it might be, it might not be. But tell me if I'm off there. So that pretty much fixes that. Now I've got something. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a snapshot of something here off of this. Now the thing is this piston, it can either move this way or it can move that way. Really doesn't matter which particular direction it moves right now. But what I do is I draw a perpendicular to it. Now, before I do that, what I'm going to do is go back to the book, do this snippet thing again, do a free form, and then do a new. And I'm going to try my best to do this. Oh, is that rain? Finally. Okay, my thing showed up more than an hour ago. Oh, Siri's listening to me. She does not respond to that. She probably thought I was a wolf. Okay. You know what we should do? We should just go out in the rain and run around. I should cut off the screen and we should just go outside. You know what? I wish it kind of seemed hot in here. Does it seem hot in here to y'all? Oh, let's do that. Just throw the chair to it. Okay. So I know the velocity is here in that direction, and it's 3.6. I don't care about the number right now. And I know this thing is going to move up or down. So the reason, you'll see why I broke this away in a second. So I broke it away because I want to just draw two perpendicular lines. So here's one perpendicular line. So again, you just find two locations on the body. I didn't copy that to B, but this is location B. And here, I know the direction of this one. And they cross right here. And so that's the instant center. That's all you got to do. So that's why I copied this without this link, because sometimes the appearance of this and this over here, they make the problem kind of confusing. So here, I just got these two links. That's it. All I do, I mean, this is all you ever do. You know, you look to draw perpendicular to the velocity that you know it's moving at. Now, here it could be moving up, it could be moving down. It really doesn't matter. I know it's moving along that line. So now I've got a really nice, just perfect little triangle here, which you can see why I copied that. Okay, and this is 0.3, and that's going to be 0.6 cosine 30, which I don't want to calculate that. Here, I'll do it like this. 0.6 cosine of 30 degrees. Oh, good. I brought my cell phone. Okay, so I'll just do that. It's like 0.866 times that, which gives you 0.51965. So that's the length right there. So now, here's the key. This thing, it acts weird sometimes. So we know this is the case. We know this because we got that when we were paying attention to this link OE. I'm sorry, AO. Where did the E come from? So it's 3.6. And we know that it appears as though this little object is rotating about here. Okay, so again, V is equal to omega R. The difference is the omega R over here is associated with that length. Now I'm associating the values with this and this. In other words, it's 3.6 because that's the speed up here. And its R is this 0.3. And so you get omega times 0.3. And then you get back omega is equal to 3.6 divided by 0.3. And this is really weird. And this doesn't usually happen. So you end up back with the the 12. Wait a minute. Yeah. Did I do that right? I'm going to use a calculator on the phone. Yeah. I don't know. My brain shut off for an instant there. This is a weird one because it turns out the instant center of this link is the same as the instant center for this link. That is not the case all the time. And actually what I might do is I might finish this problem with instant center and move on to another problem that doesn't occur, and then work that both ways. So if that's the case, in this link here, and I better start putting subscripts, AB, and this one is omega OA. So they are different, but it just so happens in this problem they're not. They're the same, but that really doesn't, it's, I need to go work another problem after this. So if this object right here appears to be rotating about, let me get all this junk off here. Whoops. If it appears to be rotating that way, then I'm pretty much assured that this being a little further out, that this point up here is moving that way, and its velocity is equal to omega AB times the R that sits right here. And sometimes in the book he'll say something like B instant center. So it's basically the distance from here to here. So the omega is 12 and the R is 0.51965, or I don't know, 12 times 0.51965. It's about 6.235. What is this? This is meters per second. I'm trying to figure out was it feet or meters. So I think instead of working this problem two different ways, since it's an anomaly, I think I better go pick up another problem, because I think I want to show that the complexity that we have, that actually you can get, you can still solve them no matter how complex they are. So if you're okay with that, I'll just go ahead and find a better problem to solve for that. Okay, so this one, let's see. I'm looking at it. So here, I'm just going to identify the instance. So this goes this direction, and I know that's got to go that direction. So if I draw a perpendicular, I'll get that being the instance. Well, that's okay, but that's not really that great. That one's really boring. Okay, this one, the velocity has to go along this direction, and this one has to go along this direction. So what you do is this point A and this point B are both on the body. Hey, wait a minute. Where's my... Oh, okay. Never mind. So I draw a perpendicular. This is supposed to be a straight line, by the way. And so it's a perpendicular to that velocity. This one's a perpendicular here. So now I've got something more interesting. So maybe I'll pick this one. So let's see if I find another one. This one, I need to do this one, but it has the other. I'm looking for ones that are most intriguing with instant center. This one's interesting. Okay, so this point B is going that way, but point C has got to go this way, or it's got to go that way. So I draw a perpendicular to it, and then draw a perpendicular to this one. That's supposed to be a straight line. So your instant center's up here. Well, I guess that one's okay too. Boomerang, that's a weird one. We might do that one, but it doesn't have any connections. This one's very interesting. Okay, you got the velocity going this way, the velocity going that way. So you draw the perpendicular to this one, you draw the perpendicular to this one. Where do they cross? So these two lines never cross. And because of that, omega of this length BC is equal to 0. It's moving only in translation down right now. So if you look at it, if you have something like that, then velocity of C is that. Guess what? Velocity of A is the same as the velocity of C. It's just 4 going straight down. Then that tells you this. Okay, velocity of B is equal to omega AB times R, which this is, okay, so my scribbling here, I don't think I can write across the page. No, it just stops. But I can go to the next page. So in other words, velocity of, I meant to say, why did I write A there? I meant to write B there. So velocity of B is 4, because it's that. Omega AB, I don't know. And R is 2. So therefore, omega AB is just equal to 2. And that's because you noticed that the thing is in pure translation. So let me find, I guess that one problem up there might be the best problem to work. So I guess I'll take it. I don't know which one. This one's the more oddity. So I'm going to take it right now because it's odd. And then if I'm going to take it, let me get all. Okay, so first I'm going to solve it using instant center. And then I'm going to use the relative equation. And so, unfortunately, I sort of botched this lecture because I should have done that one first. So we're 26 minutes in. So I can do the instant center, and I might be able to finish up the other one. I just don't know yet. So this velocity has to go this way, or it has to go that way. I really don't know. This one has to go down. So I draw a perpendicular. I draw a perpendicular here. Now I've got geometry. Okay, and so this is the biggest problem when you're doing instant center problems, is you got to deal with the geometry. And so for me, the best thing maybe for me to do is, well, I guess I could try my best to use the picture. I guess I've got somewhere, I got this ruler. Let me just see how accurate this is as far as the 30 and 45 degrees. So if I try to line that up, well, that's pretty accurate. So that's 45 degrees. Well, okay, I'm not going to complain about that either. If I can get this, okay, come on, get 30. There we go. Oh, there we go. If we get 30 and line it on top of that, wow. So I'm going to go old style. Old style is the way people used to do this kind of stuff in like the 50s. And there was a lot of knowledge out of that. Now, the thing is, I've got to do this distance right here is 2. Okay, so if I look at it, okay, so how many of these major ticks is 2? Okay, so it looks like to me, I'm going to be just guesstimating it here. So it looks like to me 2 is somewhere in here. So if I count, okay, so I've got a major tick here. There's a 1, there's a 2. So in other words, that looks like a 1. This looks like a 2, 3, and in between there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's it's a 0.1. So that's 2. That's 3.2. So 3.2 ticks for each 2 meters. Now, what I'm doing, it sounds weird, but here's the 0 line, and then there's the large tick. So in between here, I've got, so I'm scaling this thing, so I can't zoom in or out anymore. And so, and you'll see why I'm doing that. So there's 3, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and looks like 0.2. So 3.2 ticks per 2 meters. Now what I'm going to do is really weird. Okay, now I've got to do something that is perpendicular to 30. Oh man, get to 60, come on. All right, I got to 60. I line that up. I'm going to go in and take my pen and say drop it to a little finer set here. And then I'm going to go out to here. And then I'm going to do 0. And I'm going to go to right there. Now what I'm about to do is I'm going to fake it. So what I mean by faking is I'm going to get an approximate answer. So I'll line this thing up. And wow, that looks almost exactly like 1 tick. In other words, 3.2, this is exactly the distance of 1. I'm not talking about dog ticks or anything, but. And then the question is, how far is this one? Okay, let's see if I can line that back up. 60. Okay. So I'll line it up right here. There is 1 right there. There's 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's so this distance is okay. Let me make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'd say 6.5. So 2.65. Is that right? Let me double check that. So there's 1. There's 2. Yeah. So I think that's 2.65 ticks. So if I want to get this, I flip this over and say 2 meters for 3.2 ticks. Get rid of that. Times 1 tick tells me that this is 1 meter distance here. I'm going to double check this in a minute. So now 2 over 3.2 times 2.65 ticks is going to be, so again, this predates me. This is the way people in the old days would do this kind of stuff. Matter of fact, in the old days, they would do this on a drawing, 1.656 meters. So technically, we'll change colors and say this distance right here is 1.656, and this distance here is 1. Let's see how good I am at that. So, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to necessarily want to go find out how good I am. I may do something very interesting. Here, let's try this. G-O-G-E-R. Okay. Now there's a way, it has a bunch of stuff. There's a way you can just draw things on the page. You know, I may not be patient enough to wait for that because I don't know that the internet's that good. So here, we'll just do it the way we would traditionally do it. Okay, so I know, I kicked this line up to 60 degrees. So you look right here, you realize it's 60. So what is it 60 from? Oops. Let's go back to my red marker. 60 degrees from right here. Yeah, 60 degrees from right here. It's also 45 to right there. So I don't know, what is 60 minus 45? That's 15. So it looks really ugly, but this angle right here is 15 degrees. Now, this angle's got to be 45. And this is 2. And so what? Okay, so hang on a second. 180 minus 15 minus 45. 120. So this is 120. So I know all 3 angles in one side. So I'm going to use law of sine. So I'm going to say, I don't know, sine of 15. Oops, 15. So I'm going to take this one over that one. And I'm going to say question mark is equal to the sine of 120 over underneath 2. I'm taking the 2 here, taking the 120 because it's right there. And so the length here is going to be sine of 15 times 2 over sine of 120. Now, if I zoom in and put as degrees here, let's see what this thing will do. Can it solve that? First of all, can I write it well enough for it to see it? And so I get 0.597717. Is that what I got? I don't think that's what I got. First of all, because that I'm showing 1 meter. Oh, what? That's not 1 meter. That's 2 divided by 3.2. Y'all didn't catch me on that. 2 divided by 3.2, 0.625. So 2 divided by 3.2. So, I don't know, 0.59, it's close to that, but it's not quite. So, do you think, did I mess up the angles anywhere? So if that's 30 degrees, okay, so hang on. If this is 30 degrees, and this is 30 degrees, and these are 90 degrees, so this has got to be 60 degrees, which is what this little ruler says. And this is 45. Oops, wait a minute. Yeah, that's got to be 45. So this right here is got to be 45. So I think I'm okay. I think that's 15 degrees. That has to be 45. So my old style did not do very good. So in fact, 0.597, I'm just going to say 0.598. So again, I wasted some time. So that's 0.598. I'm going to say, gosh, let's see how bad I was for this other one. So 45 as opposed to this side. Okay. So this time, I'm going to change the equation, and the question mark will be, what is the length over here? I got 1.656. Let's see. If I just change this to 45, what do I get then? Okay, let's go ahead and get rid of that. This one might be a little closer, but then again, maybe it won't be. $1.63299. Well, I got 1.65, so that was pretty close. So 1.63299. By the way, they did know trig way back, so they probably would be okay using this. 1.63299. Now this thing appears to be, now I don't need any of this. Don't need any of this. Don't need any of this. I don't need that angle. So now what we're looking at is it appears like it's rotating this way. So the question is, off of the first problem, first statement, here, I'll keep that there. Velocity is equal to omega r. Well, velocity is 3. The R is this distance because that's a distance from the instant center to A. And so I get 3 is equal to omega times 0.598. So omega is about 2 divided by 0.598. Omega is about 5.01. Let's just see what would happen if I did 3 divided by 0.597. Yeah, let's just stick with it being about like that. So that's the omega. Now, if you want to know the velocity of B, it's basically the same omega times the R now is this R, the distance from this instant center back out to the point where you're interested in the velocity. So the velocity of B is equal to 5.01 times 1.63299, or the velocity of B is equal to 5.1 times 1.63 at 3. So I get about 8.18. That's the velocity out there at point B. Now, I did that with instant center, and so technically I should do it with the other, but I got not enough time to complete the problem that way, but I'll pick that up next time and complete it next time. But let me just go. Oh, that finally did come up. Okay, there's way too many things out here open. That may be why the okay. This is F1612. These are not F's, I think. Oh, they are. F1612. Well, see, we're going to do it the other way too. Okay, so check this out. This is the first thing I see. You got the same omega. Oh, there it is. Velocity of B is 8.2. And we're a little bit off, but I threw away digits left and right. So what we'll do next time is, where did it go? There it is. We're going to go back and solve it this way, and maybe we'll refine it down. We'll solve it this way, and we'll check and make sure we're okay with it. First of all, if it's 5.02, let me just go back. So if I put in 5.02 instead of the 5.1, 1.63, I still get 8.18. So there may be something I threw away digits like in the wrong place or something. Or maybe, here, let me do the, I think that thing that came up, it was right. Sine of 45 over 2 divided by sine of 120. 1.63299. 1.63299. So off of this, you have to, it bothers me that it's that far off. So his was 8.02. No, it's 8.2. I'm sorry. So it's 8.2. So now I don't need to be bothered because I thought it was 8.02. So in fact, it's not that far off. Sorry about that. So actually, if I did put in 5 point, special weather statement. Let's see what it's going to tell me. It's trying to come up. Oh man. There is a wild looking front coming through. That is really bizarre. It's like a huge red vertical line, and then right behind it, it's all just green. But you know what? It's already past it. So the rain's over. That was it. We should have run out there and jumped in the rain while it was raining, because that's all we're going to get. There is a little bit of green coming behind it. But. All right. Well, we'll complete this one next time. So I should have asked y'all if y'all had any questions about any of this stuff. If you do, I mean, I guess, wait, today is, yeah, just come next time. We'll answer any of those if we got some. If there are no questions, I'll just complete this. So luckily I can just leave it here. Or I'll just write in this thing. I'll say dynamics. Okay. So if I go back, yeah, it'll list it as a title right there. All right. Well, that's that for whatever it's worth. So we'll just stop this thing.